Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero, and we are back again talking about, of course, some Rippaverse detractors. Recently, there was an article put out by John De La Rose talking about how Air July could possibly be the next Stan Lee. Now, again, this is an opinion piece at the end of the day. This is John De La Rose's opinion, but it seems to have triggered a bunch of haters and detractors because they hate Eric so much that they don't think could be possible for him to reach a level that Stan Lee has reached or Todd McFarlane has reached, or any name it writer, artist, or writer really, or person who has started a company, they don't believe that he could ever reach a level as high as them. So as you can see here, Alpha Core number one is sitting at over a million, specifically at 1.034 million, probably about over 17,000 copies sold. Just remember, these weirdos out here have always wanted to ship the Goalpost. You had the initiative, which consists of people like Actual Fandom, Organized Chaos, Turf Nation, Eric. Those are the type of people that said that it wasn't going to break a million. It looks like it broke a million. This was about 2 weeks ago. We'll say it broke a million. You had tokenized Steve Urkel right here talking about it wasn't going to hit a million. And of course, you had Zombie Moses, who of course shifted the goalpost after it hit a million, saying it wasn't going to have above 10K buyers. So I'm assuming he's shifted the goalpost yet again, which, by the way, I believe this is a second account this person had. I'm pretty sure they got suspended from Twitter or X a little while ago. So, but yeah, it's over 10K. Where's the goalpost going to shift now? Oh wait, yeah, I know. It's going to shift over back to Glenn Beck and the Blaze, sip your water. It's going to shift back to that, which it has. People have brought that back up again, saying that this is a Blaze project, a Glenn Beck back project, all this stuff, which I'm sure Eric will continue to make the joke of, Glenn Beck, where's my check? Still waiting for it, which I believe he should actually use that as a marketing tool. I think he should create another item based on that. I think that would be hilarious to do, but you can still get your Alpha Core number one here. You want to go to the regular Rippaverse store, of course. That's just a shipping alert. Rippaverse comics hoodies. You can get your ISOM 2s, your ISOM posters, Rippaverse shirts, ISOM hats, posters, and other stuff as well. I would recommend backing Blade Devil, which I made a point in my live stream yesterday where people were talking about Super Killer, and I said, look at this. This has way better artwork than Super Killer. It has almost the same amount of backers. I think this one probably has about 140 more backers, and yet this has double the amount of money. You know why that is? It's because the people working on this project, Raging Golden Eagle and Toxic Man Baby, aren't out there constantly talking crap about other creators. They're focusing on their work, and this is the result of all of that work. So if you're into the more anime and manga style, though, I believe this is the book for you. I absolutely enjoyed Blade Devil 1. I'm looking forward to Blade Devil 2. I've backed every single cover because they as in Raging Golden Eagle and Toxic Man Baby, has given me enough reason to want to continue to support this and spend more money on this product than I did with the first book. I gave the first book a chance. I absolutely loved it. And so I decided to give them even more money than the first book. By the way, coming from this weirdo who wants to talk about, oh, look at me and my digital comics, right? Yet he wants to ask me if I buy or spend money on independent comics, which is really none of your business what I spend my money on. It's my money. It's weird that you're trying to count my money or anyone else's money, but the fact of the matter is when I challenged you to present the indie comics that you bought, you presented nothing. Meanwhile, every time I receive an independent comic in the mail, I post it on Twitter and I tag the creators of the book every single time. So I can guarantee I've spent more independent comics than you ever have. But back to Blade Devil 2's beautiful artwork. Here you get 69 pages of story and 2 supplemental stories here and here. We can go through the covers. Cover A, you receive a card. Cover B, you receive a card. Cover C, you receive a card. So you get incentive to back each cover, which I've gotten all of them, like I said, including the limited summer wraparound cover as well. because you get a card, and I should be receiving this card as well. You can also get things like mouse pads, waifu pillows, whatever fits your needs with this campaign. You also will be getting an art print and foil covers for your books. You can also add in Blade Devil 1 as an add-on, or you can go over here if you don't care too much about the damage on your book and you just want to read a fun, awesome story about a sister trying to save her sister's soul. You can get Blade Devil 1 here. We also have this from Joel Ball, 300-page graphic novel, 3 different versions. You got color, line art, and manga. You can get an 18-page manga graphic novel with 300 pages. $18. $30 if you want a hardcover, and $45 if you want the hardcover with color. This will be your front. This will be your color page, your line art page, your manga page, so on and so on. Check it out. I'll leave it all linked below in the description of this video. Moving on to Rippaverse Goalpost, we're going to start here with the article written by John Delarose that says, "Is Eric July the new Stan Lee with his multi-million-dollar Rippaverse comics?" Again, it's an opinion piece, but people still are mad. We got Paulo, shout out to Paulo, worked as a writer, but also an editor, face of the company, gave creative freedom to other writers to expand the universe, made effort to expand the company with merchandising, fought against censorship and detractors. Yeah, pretty much modern Stan Lee. These are all things that Stan Lee did with his comic book company. So, there you go. Are these guys searching for anything about Air July just to be mad at him? Yes. This is what they do all day. This is what people like Josh Friedmaster do all day. Sit on Twitter or X and complain all day about everything he dislikes rather than doing his own thing. He's got double the amount of posts that I've got on here. This is the first time I've heard of this news site. Good on them for covering what he's doing. It was a very good read, very professional, and awesome interview in my own opinion. Comparison to Timely Comics, would be neat to look at. Good, let him weep. I'm sure it did. There were quite a few angry comments. You got a loser here. 2 more losers here. Oh, actually, it's the same person. Nah, but it is a reminder to all about the mind of JDA. Read at your own risk. Sure. Lol F the haters. Eric set the new standard. It's because it's breathtakingly stupid question in comparison. This is coming from a guy that said ISOM will not reach issue 5. They won't get past issue 5. You got this weirdo here, obviously coping. And obviously that person there, right? But you got other people. Detractors coping with the recent article that asks an innocent question: is Eric July the new Stan Lee with his multi-million-dollar Rippaverse comics? You can see right here. Please don't compare that self-hating person to Stan Lee. Matter of fact, do we even know what ISOM does? Well, you would know what ISOM does if you read the comic, which clearly you have not. And clearly, none of the haters or detractors have ever read the comic either. And if they did, they're just going to tell you it's not good, it sucks, you shouldn't like this, you can't like this because this person made it. It's all opinions at the end of the day, and you're allowed to have them. So, allow me to answer this question. F no. Stan Lee put blood, sweat, and tears with his comics and the world he created. So did Eric July. Eric July has been a YouTuber for about 15 years. Eric July is a BS artist who doesn't know how roads or gates work. Plus, the dude doesn't know his character's powers. Yes, he does. He created it. Why would the creator of the character not know what the powers are? You know why you're saying that? It's because you don't know the powers of the character. So, moving on along. No, it's the same thing. Oh, wait, is this the same person? I think it's the same person. Oh, yeah, it's similar to what the other guy said. It just looked like it was the same. No, because Stanley put blood, sweat, and tears in his work, while Eric is an unscrupulous, belligerent grifter who only cares about money. And when you ask him about plot, characters, or anything to do with the craft, he tries to change the subject and calls you a fruit. Well, he's answered the question multiple times about everything you just said on a live stream called Flashcast, and he's done Q&As on Twitter plenty of times, so you could just read what he said. Or if you're not a brokey or a loser, you could just read the book, which I'm not calling anybody who watches me a loser. I'm calling the people who want to be haters losers, just to clarify. Media buys through Beck's network. Nobody who thinks this has read the books. You haven't read it either, most likely. How much did his boss Glenn pay for this puff piece? Again, people just can't like something made by Eric July. It has to be some ulterior motive or something happening in the background. That's always how it is with these types. It's weird. My favorite excuse. I could just imagine Glenn Beck getting tweets on Twitter about the Rippaverse, and he's like, "I ripped a what?" Pretty much, yeah. Got John Douglas. I love Eric, but it's a ridiculous question on the face of it. Let Eric be Eric. I agree. Again, it's all opinions. They all act like they revere Stan Lee, but they cheer for the garbage product his work was turned into by people who abused him in the last years of his life, which is just a fact. But Morode's self-hating right out the gate, tattletaling on themselves. Exactly. I believe this is Sist Rest on my YouTube. It's because he's black and doesn't play by their rules. I find it interesting too. Seemingly disconnected accounts both happen to mention Stanley's blood, sweat, and tears. Not at all coordinated, right? The mainstream comics industry abused Stan Lee in his later years. Their opinions mean nothing. Same crap, different decades. So basically showing Stan Lee's haters, showing Eric July's haters. The new Stan Lee, let's not get too far ahead, but Eric is off to a good start. Let's say that he is at the same level of Ben Dunn for now. The more you post, the more it seems like you and Eric's fan base, by the way, is coping. It's our coping. The more you keep trying to show it's successful, even though it's selling less and needs combos to make sales, doesn't show good. Like, is this even a coherent sentence? Can we not let people like you tweet? Marvel's a billion-dollar company, and Stan Lee made a fortune from his comics. But Eric is a grifter who's only in it for money. Eric July can want to make good comics and make money at the same time as well. They just haters. Fact. That's the thing. Most of these independent people are like, oh, it's all about the craft and you shouldn't care about it's like, why about the money? It's like, why are you making comics? You're not making comics to make a profit, then why bother? Why even bother? Why even bother? That's all it is. More people coping on their side. Why are you coping so hard? It's like he puts another tweet. No one cares. Yeah, but Spider-Man was good. Again, it's all opinions. It's all opinion. These are the types that'll put their opinion and think their opinion is the only opinion. The simping is unreal. He never even cracked 50K units sold of his overpriced comic, and he's now the new Stan Lee. Yes, he actually has. He's sold more than 50K. He sold 60,000 books of his first book, you dummy. You would know that if you paid attention and did any research. But again, people like this, like I said, Josh Friedmaster has been a long-time hater and detractor of Eric, always just spews out whatever pops into his brain first and then just thinks it's all facts. It was 49,000 orders, but it was 60,000 books. You can always look at it. The numbers are right here. It's 49,000 orders. You could count this. 27 and 17 is 44. If my math serves me right. Plus 18, 62. So that's over 62,000 books. It's like math is hard for these people. Math is very hard for you, I guess. It's so weird. These people just talk a bunch of nonsense. You still have Richard Embry. I told them many times, focus on your own stuff. Notice the empty warehouse behind them. Really? Notice your empty campaign. You have 72 backers. You'd probably have 100 by now if all you did was focus on your book and promoted your book. You would probably have 100 backers by now if you weren't spending so much time doing this. Nagfar94 Games says, actually, an even more accurate answer is not yet, but in some years' time will tell after Rippaverse has finally fully established and settled in. Also, what are you talking about, mate? A lot of effort and passion goes into his books too. Actually, the whole Rippaverse project, right down to its very foundation and creation, was founded on passion for the medium, as Eric started off as a huge fan of the medium, now creator. You can't get any more passionate than that. He ain't no Stanley yet, but he certainly will be similar, give or take, in time. And what he has managed to accomplish in such a short time is nothing short of impressive. Impressive for comics as a whole, and impressive especially for an indie, as the numbers and sales made on all three projects is not normal. Considering the goal of each campaign is set at 300K, and all three times has made and went beyond that, yeah, that ain't a normal happening, especially for an indie project. That has just started only just last year and still in its infancy stages. Very well said by this person, by Nagfar94, which I know he follows on YouTube. He'll most likely watch this video and see that I've mentioned his comment. This is the same thing. So now we're going to move over to here, where this person is saying here, Stanley was one of a kind, true professional, revolutionized the industry. Eric July is an amateur of little talent, clearly enough talent to make millions of dollars. To even compare them in that headline is embarrassing and a disgrace to Stanley's legacy. Well, they basically took Stanley's legacy at the end of his life and tried to smear, and they tried to essentially destroy it towards the end of his life. So I guess I don't think Rippaverse will even last long term in comics. It's a YouTuber that could have sold a million anything to his following for now. The more issues that are out, though, if that was the case, if that was the case, Ethan Van Sciver would have sold more comics to people versus Eric. You should think of that one before you made this tweet, which I told him he's an EVS stan, which he is. I've seen him multiple times where he just stands for EVS all day long. This was Eric's response to that, by the way. You're free to that prediction, but there's something to make note of. The Rippaverse was not my first entertainment product, yet it's the only thing I've ever sold a million doing. I encourage you to analyze markets. Following does not equal a conversion of sales. I do have that prediction. If I'm wrong, there's really no effect. I don't see the online comic industry as a combative bunch of gangs like some do and will probably jump on me. I just find ISOM underwhelming so far, and your reaction to criticism has been a turnoff. See, again, you shifted the goalpost when he told you that a following does not equal a conversion of sales. Because if that was the case, Cyberfrog would have sold more than ISOM. Considering EVS is well known as he is, he would have sold way more. And he even says to him, your opinion and prediction is surely your own. You're right to have it. Just a little bit illogical on the economics, that's all, no biggie. If the quality of the writing and art isn't there, then the focus should be on that, not the business aspect. I'm not sure exactly what that has to do with the previous notion, but another economic lesson. Both creative and business, especially as an independent, are intertwined. That's a fact. New Goalpost has moved from will fall in 3 years to it's going to fail, but I don't know when. Totally agree, Eric. You took advantage of many markets. You showed what could be done when petty disagreements among the fandom menace, comics, gay, and the fellowship don't exist, and it's incredible. Something I've been pointing out the entire time. While you're totally right that Eric can learn from criticism, Ethan Van Sciver, so can you. While short-term divisive drama streams can pay the bills, they will never equate to the benefits we will all see by joining together. Stop tagging me in this silly stuff. Well, it's not silly. It's true. And by this was about 51 minutes ago. It's not silly when it's true. He comes back and says, come on, Eric July fans, do your worst. No amount of comments is going to matter to me. I said, no one actually cares enough for your nonsense. We understand EVS is a jealous guy of Eric's success. He doesn't need to be. Wealth is not a fixed pot. What does EVS got to do with it? I decided myself to like ISOM or not, and EVS is far from being the only person who was underwhelmed by this, so Eric could choose to not act like this is the greatest thing ever and humbly get good. Berserker, though, is so far is awesome. I agree. Berserker is pretty good. I've read it. So, which I said, opinions are like a-holes. Everyone has one. Just because you didn't like ISOM, that doesn't mean other people don't like it. Considering that Eric has been humble and not made a butt out of himself, all things considered, and got his books out on time, I'm more likely to back his stuff than anyone else's. 2 years for Cyberfrog 2 and the PVC toys, GTFOH. So, pretty reasonable for what I said. Because this is how the guy acts. He acts as if EVS, and because some people find it underwhelming, he doesn't care what his peers think. He said this multiple times. He only cares about what the customers think of his product, not what his peers think. And there's another person, Stuff Observer, responding to him. Keanu Reeves comic, A Global Star, sold 1.4 million. This is Berserker. That's over on Kickstarter, which, by the way, I'm still waiting for book 3. We're about to be in December, and I'm still waiting for book 3. I was supposed to have book 3, I believe, in October or even September. Anywhere you travel in the world, people know Keanu Reeves. If following is all it required, then Keanu Reeves should have sold 10 plus million. There is no consistency in your logic. Berserker was actually good, though. This is irrelevant to his point. He's showing you how having a following does not mean sales. This is why it's quite illogical to assume a YouTuber can just sell a million of anything. It doesn't always mean sales, but looking at ISOM, there isn't a draw in to have gotten sales without a following from the start. That's your own opinion. Again, you're free to have it. The point is that following does not equal sales. As I said, it was not the first creative project I've done, yet it's the only one I've sold millions doing. He just continue. If you don't see it, he just continues to shift the goalposts when he gets called out on his nonsense and gets corrected on what he's saying. I get that you have sold millions. I'm just simply saying I don't think ISOM is going to keep selling millions. It has. It's just a statement I made. I'm not rooting for its failure. I hope it succeeds, but that's different than what I think will happen. Well, your first comment was more so devaluing the effort because YouTuber. That's what I'm addressing. Again, your predictions are your predictions and you're free to have them. This right here is part of the turnoff, the ego. I have across the entire internet like 90K followers, so I'm nobody. And I make a pretty bland statement about your stuff that is my opinion, but you have to defend it. You don't need to defend everyone's criticism. Which Stealth Observer says, he literally told you that you are free to have your opinion. What ego? You are using this as an excuse to justify the slight hate you have for Eric. Literally, you were shifting the goalpost in real time. You're shifting the goalpost in real time when you get checked on your garbage. I don't understand what you don't understand about this. Moving over to actual fandom, of course, because he always has something to say. He made this terrible meme because this is how all memes end up being from the left. Nonsensical. Bigotry and racism are amongst the baddest social ills plaguing the world today. I'm tired of these effing fruits. I don't know what kind of crap you're into, but yeah, and he covers the rest. Enough said. I don't understand it. Face front, true believers. Face front, fake front, true deceivers. Okay. Item number 1 is hot. Comic book shops can't keep it in stock and its collector's value is already climbing charts. Tell your local comic shops that you want ISOM. Basically showing a picture of ISOM being the second highest selling graphic novel in the comic shop that this was selling at, of course, just behind Spawn. Comics are a source of revenue. They are. Just crap one out even if you can't write your name. Then make up fake top 10 list and say it's number 2. It's not a fake top 10 list. He got the list from the comic shop, you idiot. This is why no one takes you serious, Dane. Because all you do is hate on someone more successful than you. Keep calling him Scam Lee. Meanwhile, he hasn't scammed anybody out of anything. He hasn't scammed the charity he helped. He hasn't scammed the customers. He's not scamming anybody. There's no scam here. You continue to call it a grift for some reason. It's weird. Yes, Eric July is also Marvel and DC graphic novels in the last 5 years. Not all time, obviously. But he did so with a book that doesn't qualify as a graphic novel. Yes, it does. By charging far more than anyone's ever charged for a graphic novel because he's an independent comic book company. He doesn't have the printing deals like Marvel and DC have that have been around forever. By including his merch sales in the figure, so what? And merch is not most of his sales. That's a lie. And even if that were true, you don't really have the proof to present it anyway. And I'm spending years using Marvel and DC's names to lie about comics to build an audience on resentment. Yeah, supposedly building a lie. Meanwhile, he was purchasing the product and giving his opinions on how crap the product was. He could never have made $50 without Marvel DC. That's incorrect. That's very incorrect. You're just coping. He depends on them. Ignoring this context is what makes him a grifter. Again, it would require that he's scamming people, which he's not. Betteridge's law of headlines, coined by journalist Ian Betteridge, states that questions in headlines can always be answered with no. Yeah, that's fine. I guess this is what he calls Dick Masterson. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with that one. Kyle Rittenhouse made friends with a lot of good Christian people. I'm surprised they're not stepping up to help him out with some cash. So are you basically implying that Eric should just give his cash away to people that he likes? This is a stupid argument. I already went through this. I went through this. And of course, the last one would be, what's the answer when a newspaper asks a question in the headline? I don't know. It could be yes or no. It's not a hard thing for anybody but you, apparently. Didn't Eric July get one of these and he pretended it was PayPal canceling him? What a joke. He didn't get this. His money was on hold completely. It's not nearing a hold because he made more money than you have in a single day. Again, why are we bringing up old stuff like a woman, like an ex-girlfriend? Again, this is how these people act. These people act as if bad stuff doesn't happen with PayPal. These people act as if opinions are terrible. You can't have an opinion on anything. It's, oh, you're just wrong and that's it. It's like, no. People are allowed to have their opinions. Just because you disagree with said opinions doesn't mean you're allowed to shut down their opinion, which is what people are trying to do to anyone that likes Eric July, that likes Rippaverse, that likes the comic products he's putting out. If you have the opposite opinion of someone who hates Eric, hates Rippaverse, or hates the comics, you're a bad person. You're not allowed to like this. You shouldn't like this. You shouldn't buy this. You shouldn't spend your money on this. That's how these weirdos act. And I say to them, go F yourself. You do not get to tell me or anybody else what they can spend their money on, who they can give their money to, who they can support, and what opinions they're allowed to have. You can get out of my face with that nonsense and go do something with yourself instead of being a dang loser who is always worried about what other people are spending money on, who people are supporting, or what projects other people are working on. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button. Comment below what you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content by hitting the red subscribe button on the video if you feel that I've earned your subscription today. If you would like to go further supporting the channel, you can always hit the join button as well. Become a member for $1 a month. I really would appreciate it if you did do that. But if you choose not to do that, that's okay too. You're never obligated to do so. It is just an extra thing you can do to support the channel. Hit the bell for notifications, set the bell to all. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a new video or live stream. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.